Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive that'll take us through more than a century of marketing.
We're going to unpack how these models really changed how we understand and influence customer behavior.
And what's wild is that our source material actually has them arranged in this cool spiral timeline.
Yeah, you can literally see how marketing thought evolved.
Like, it starts with these super linear paths to purchase, right?
But then as you move through the decades, it gets more and more cyclical.
Which makes sense if you think about how customers behave now. We're going to go all the way back to 1898.
The time of horse-drawn carriages.
Like the very first movies.
To see where AIDA came from. It's a model that's still kind of relevant even today.
And that's just the beginning. Okay, we're hitting the purchase funnel.
Dagmore.
Moments of truth.
And then some stuff you might not have heard of, like the messy middle, for example.
Ooh, and reception marketing.
By the end of this, you'll know each model inside and out.
Why it matters, how it fits into the bigger picture.
It's going to be a wild ride. So let's kick things off with the OG, the granddaddy, AIDA, created by Elmo Lewis way back when.
And get this, it was actually meant for sales, not marketing.
But it's amazing how well it's held up, right?
Totally.
Attention, interest, desire, action.
It's so simple, so basic. That's its strength. It gives you like a cheat sheet for persuasion. Even today, you can check your marketing against those four things.
But of course, no model's perfect, especially in our crazy digital world.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, think about how we browse online, right? It's all over the place. Websites, reviews, social media.
Yeah, there's no straight line anymore.
And AIDA is definitely assuming things are linear.
Like a one-way street to buying something.
Okay, so that brings us to the purchase funnel.
That cone that everybody knows.
Leads go in the top, get qualified stage by stage.
It's visualizing those same steps from AIDA, really. Awareness, interest, so on.
Right. There's some mystery around who actually came up with it.
Right. We always hear William Townsend, like in the 1920s. But our source material says maybe not. Maybe Elmo Lewis was involved somehow. Or even Frank and Lillian Gilbreth.
Those management gurus, wow.
It makes you think, could they have imagined how much impact their ideas would have?
For over 100 years. Crazy.
But as marketing kept changing, the models had to keep up. And that's where Dagmar comes in.
Dagmar, defining advertising goals for measured advertising results.
Exactly. In 1961, they were like, hold on, we need to actually prove this stuff works.
It was all about accountability.
Right. No more vague impressions. It was about setting concrete goals for your ad campaigns, measuring the results.
Which is basically how we do things today.
Totally data-driven.
So yeah, Dagmar pushed measurement forward, but it can feel a little stiff compared to all the digital stuff we do now.
Yeah, it's very focused on traditional advertising.
Okay, so now we're getting into the later 20th century.
And things are about to get philosophical.
Ooh, I like it.
We're talking about moments of truth.
It's not just about a model, it's like a whole new way of looking at things.
Exactly. Jan Carlzon, this CEO from Scandinavian Airlines, he wrote a book in '86 called Moments of Truth.
And his big idea was,
every interaction a customer has with your brand, it matters. It shapes how they see you.
So it's not just about the sale itself.
Nope. Every touch point, every tiny moment, it all adds up.
Like even if the phone rings and someone's rude.
That's a moment of truth. Carlson figured SAS was having 50 million of these moments every year.
50 million. With all their employees and passengers and everything.
Yeah, so every single person on your team is part of the brand experience.
Okay, let's zoom ahead to the 21st century now. Digital marketing is taking over.
And the McKinsey consumer decision journey enters the scene.
I feel like this one was a total game changer.
Oh, for sure.
It blew up the idea of a straight line to purchase, right?
Totally. In 2009, McKinsey said, hey, customers aren't just going A to B.
They're looping all over the place.
That's right. They called it the active evaluation loop.
So even after buying something, people are still researching, comparing.
Makes sense, right? Think about how many tabs you have open when you're shopping online.
Way too many.
So marketers had to start thinking about the whole customer life cycle.
It's not just about getting the sale, it's about what happens after.
Building loyalty, creating advocates.
Exactly. Okay, and we can't talk about digital without mentioning Google's Zero Moment of Truth.
ZMOT. This one's all about how much people research online before they even think about buying.
It's like they're doing their homework. Reviews, prices, demos.
They're forming opinions before they even talk to a salesperson.
So if your brand's not showing up online, you're already losing.
You got to be where they're searching, answering their questions, building that trust.
Otherwise, they'll never even consider you.
Exactly.
It's like the ZMOT is this battleground that every brand has to fight on now.
It's not just about shouting your message anymore. It's about being helpful, being valuable.
Demanding their attention.
And as we go through the next wave of models, we'll see how this focus on the customer just keeps getting stronger.
Okay, before we move on, let's do a quick recap. We've gone from AIDA, like, way back in the 1800s.
Through the purchase funnel,
The rise of measurement with Dagmar.
the whole idea of moments of truth.
And then those digital disruptors, the McKinsey journey and ZMOT.
It's amazing to see how marketing has adapted to like all these changes in how people behave.
And as we head into the next chapter, we're going to uncover even more models, ones that are shaping how brands connect with customers right now.
But for now, take a breath, grab a coffee.
We'll be back with more marketing model madness in a bit.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive. Ready for more models that have shaken up marketing?
Totally. I'm especially interested in the ones that, like, focus on what happens after someone buys something.
It's not just about getting that sale anymore.
It's about building relationships.
Right, exactly. And it's interesting, even AIDA, that old model from 1898, it's actually had a bunch of variations over the years.
Really? Like different versions of AIDA?
Yeah. People realized that just focusing on that action part wasn't enough. You got to keep customers happy.
Exactly. So they started adding things to the acronym.
Like what?
Well, there's AIDAs, for example.
Okay.
They added an S for satisfaction. Because if a customer's happy with what they bought, they're more likely to buy again.
Makes sense. You don't have to start from scratch every time.
And then there's AID-CA.
AID-CA.
That one adds a C for conviction.
Hmm.
And it's about making sure the customer really believes in your product before they buy it. Building trust, not just desire.
Yeah, that's huge nowadays. There's so much competition, so much info out there.
You can't just make them want it. You got to convince them it's the right choice.
Totally.
And then some variations combine both of those things, like AID-CAS.
Wow, getting fancy.
And then there are versions that focus on keeping customers around, like AIDL and AIDAR.
Adding loyalty and retention.
Exactly. It's all about moving from just making a sale to building a long-term relationship.
That's a big shift.
And one model that really embraces that shift is the loyalty loop. Ah, yes, that was part of the McKinsey journey, right?
Exactly. It's the idea that once a customer's happy, they just keep coming back.
But they skipped that whole consideration stage.
Pretty much. Think about it. If you have a favorite coffee shop, you don't research other options every time, right?
Nope, I just go straight there.
It's about building those habits, those preferences that make your brand the automatic choice.
That's powerful stuff.
And it's not just convenience, it's emotion too. Think about Apple fans or Nike.
They're not just buying products, they're buying into a whole lifestyle.
Exactly. They become part of a tribe.
That's loyalty on another level.
Okay, so let's talk about a model that's all about navigating the online world. Google's See, Think, Do, Care framework.
Oh yeah, this one's all about tailoring your message to each stage, right?
Right. Avinash Kaushik, this digital marketing guru at Google, he came up with it. It's about recognizing that online, you got to be more specific.
No more one size fits all.
So imagine a customer who's never even heard of your brand. That's the C stage.
First impressions.
Exactly. You just want to grab their attention, make them curious.
Without overwhelming them.
Right. Think like eye-catching visuals, fun headlines on social media.
Just getting on their radar.
Then, when they start researching, that's the think stage.
They're comparing options, trying to figure out what they need.
And that's where you provide valuable information. Blog posts, guides, customer reviews.
Stuff that makes them trust you.
Exactly. You got to answer their questions, prove you're the expert.
So they feel confident choosing you.
And then, when they're ready to take action, that's due.
Making it super easy for them to buy.
Clear calls to action, a smooth checkout process.
Remove all the obstacles.
And even after they buy, the journey's not over. That's care.
Keeping them happy, right?
More than that, it's about building a real relationship. Personalized emails, amazing customer support.
Making them feel like VIPs.
Exactly. It's about showing you value them, not just their money.
Wow. So, See, Think, Do, Care covers the whole life cycle.
That's why it's so useful. You can apply it to like all your marketing efforts.
It's a reminder that marketing's not just about getting the sale, it's about building those connections.
Okay, now let's get a little messy.
Oh, I like where this is going.
We're talking about the messy middle.
That's the one that says real life isn't a straight line, right?
Exactly. In 2020, Google was like, hey, decision-making is chaotic.
It totally is.
Think about how you shop online. You go back and forth, get distracted.
So many tabs open.
The messy middle says there are two main loops: exploration and evaluation.
So we're exploring options, then evaluating them, then exploring more.
And bouncing between those two constantly.
It's like a mental ping pong match.
It's messy, but it's how our brains work.
So how are marketers supposed to deal with that?
It's about understanding those loops, those touch points where you can actually make a difference.
Oh, okay, I'm listening.
Like during exploration, you can provide helpful content that guides them.
And during evaluation, you can offer reassurance, social proof.
Exactly. And you got to understand cognitive biases too.
Cognitive biases.
They're these mental shortcuts our brains use to make decisions.
Like what?
Well, there's the availability heuristic. We tend to overvalue information that's easy to recall,
So if I see lots of good reviews for something, I'm more likely to pick it.
even if there are better options out there. And then there's social proof. We do things because we see other people doing them.
Like if all my friends are raving about a product.
You're more likely to try it too, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And then there's loss aversion. We're more motivated to avoid losing something than to gain something of equal value.
So you could emphasize the downsides of not choosing your product.
Exactly. It's all about understanding psychology.
The messy middle is fascinating. It's like marketing meets brain science.
Right. And the more we understand how people make decisions, the better we can adapt our strategies.
Okay, so we've tackled the messiness of decision-making. What's next?
Let's talk about a model that's all about momentum. The flywheel.
Oh, the flywheel. I love that visual. It's not a funnel, it's a spinning wheel.
And it just keeps getting faster as you go.
So you attract customers, engage them, delight them.
And that creates this energy that propels your business forward.
And unlike the funnel, it doesn't stop at the sale.
Right. It's a continuous loop. Happy customers lead to more happy customers.
They become your best advocates.
And the flywheel forces you to think about the whole customer experience. Every touch point matters.
You're not just chasing transactions, you're building relationships.
Exactly. Okay, let's break down those three phases. Attract, engage, delight.
All right, let's do it.
So first, you got to get your ideal customer's attention. That's attract.
Making them want to learn more about you?
Right. Blog posts that answer their questions, engaging social media, good SEO.
Casting a wide net, but a smart one.
Once they're interested, you got to engage them.
Building those connections.
Personalized emails, valuable content, awesome customer service.
Making them feel like you actually care.
And as that relationship grows, that's when you delight them.
Going above and beyond.
Think like personalized thank you notes, surprise gifts, exclusive events.
The kind of stuff that makes people tell their friends about you.
Exactly. That's the power of delight.
The flywheel is such a great reminder that customer centricity is key.
And it works for any business, big or small. It's all about those core principles.
Attract, engage, delight. I love it. Okay, we've got momentum now. What other models are out there?
Let's look at one that expands on the funnel, but keeps that focus on the whole customer journey. The hourglass.
Ooh, I like that visual.
So you have the top of the hourglass, which is like the traditional funnel. Awareness, consideration, purchase.
The classic stages.
But then, after the purchase, it widens out again.
Showing that there's more to come.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that the sale is just the beginning.
The start of a hopefully long and happy relationship.
So let's walk through those post-purchase stages.
I'm ready.
The first one is activation.
Activation.
It's about making sure the customer knows how to use your product, how to get the most out of it.
Like onboarding and support.
Exactly. You want them to have a great experience right from the start.
So they see the value.
Then you want to encourage repeat purchase.
Making them loyal customers.
You got to deliver on your promises, exceed their expectations.
Make them want to come back for more.
And as they keep buying, they develop a preference for your brand.
They're not just choosing you randomly anymore.
They actually believe you're the best option.
You've earned their trust.
And that leads to loyalty.
They become your biggest fans.
They're less likely to switch to a competitor, even if someone else is cheaper.
They're emotionally invested.
And loyal customers are more likely to give referrals.
Tell their friends about you.
Word of mouth is the best marketing.
Absolutely.
And finally, the hourglass leads to advocacy.
They become like brand ambassadors.
They actively promote you. They defend you online.
They're not just customers. They're part of your team.
That's the power of the hourglass. It's about building those deep relationships that turn customers into advocates.
It's a beautiful cycle.
And just like the flywheel, it works for any business. It's all about those core principles.
Nurturing relationships, building loyalty, creating advocates. Got it.
So we've seen a lot of models now, from linear funnels to complex loops and everything in between.
It's amazing how much marketing has changed.
But one thing remains constant.
Hmm.
It's all about understanding your customer.
And as we continue our deep dive, we'll see even more models that reflect that truth. All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive. We've covered some serious ground, right?
From AIDA and that good old funnel to the flywheel and the hourglass.
It's amazing how many ways there are to think about the customer journey.
And now we're going to get into something that's like on the bleeding edge of marketing.
Ooh, I love it. Hit me with it.
Okay, so imagine combining content marketing
Content, gotta have content.
with something called reception marketing.
That's the one where you, like, hit people with the message when they're most open to it.
Exactly. It started out as a pull marketing strategy, but then in 2024,
Last year.
this guy Peter Ernie took it to another level. He developed the Dartboard model.
The dartboard okay, I'm visualizing a dartboard.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So picture your target audience as this dartboard, right?
Okay, got it.
And each section is a different customer segment with their own needs and behaviors and all that.
Makes sense.
The Dartboard model uses data and AI to figure out exactly who those segments are.
So you can hit them with the right content at the right time.
Bullseye. It's about precision, you know?
Like laser-focused marketing.
Exactly. And it uses two frameworks together. For creating the content, you've got the See, Think, Do, Care model.
To make sure it's relevant to each stage of the journey.
But then for actually getting that content out there, it uses awareness, consideration, conversion.
But it's all powered by AI, right?
Right. The AI is analyzing tons of data to figure out when each user is most receptive.
It's like having a marketing mind reader.
It's pretty wild. And the coolest thing is, this isn't just some theory.
There's a way to actually do this.
Thorny created a whole tool called the Content Catalog.
So businesses can actually implement this. That's awesome.
Technology's changing the game, man.
It's crazy how far we've come from those old school models.
It's like night and day.
So as we wrap up our deep dive, what are the big takeaways for our listeners? What should they be thinking about?
Well, first of all, remember that these models are just tools, you know?
They're not set in stone.
Exactly. Don't try to force something that doesn't fit your business. Understand the main idea behind each model.
And then adapt it to what you're doing.
And always be learning. Marketing changes so fast, you got to stay on top of things.
So there you have it, folks. We've explored over a century of marketing models, from the simple to the complex, the linear to the cyclical.
It's been a wild ride.
But the core message is clear. Understanding your customer is everything. Now it's your turn to take all this knowledge and put it to work. Experiment, try new things, and keep pushing the boundaries. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. We'll see you next time.